Welcome to the Workamper Show, a podcast devoted to helping you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. I'm Steve Anderson, the president of Workamper News. Each one of our episodes will either introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to opportunities to work short-term jobs. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Thanks, Steve. For the last few episodes, we've been talking to people who have been supporting their travel lifestyle by work camping. Today, we're going to take a closer look at one of the companies that hires work campers. This episode is sponsored by the National RV Training Academy in Athens, Texas. The Academy's one-week live training or home study course will teach you everything you need to know to fix about 80% of the problems people experience with their RVs. You can also sign up for additional training to become an RV inspector, campground technician, or provide mobile RV service. For more information, visit www.nrvta.com. AGS Guest Guides provides valuable information to RVers when they check into campgrounds. The colorful brochures often feature a campground map, list of rules, information about activities at the park, and suggest things to do in the local area. However, the guides also feature ads from local businesses that cater to campers and RV owners. AGS hires teams of work campers to travel the country to sell ads for the guest guides. They meet with business owners to show how the ads will draw people to the businesses, especially people who are new to the area or just passing through. Restaurants, tourist attractions, RV repair centers, retail stores, and firms offering services for pets and people will often buy ads to appear in the guest guides. Michael Moore is the general manager of AGS Publications. He is responsible for hiring and assigning single work campers and teams to visit areas for up to 2 weeks. The teams stay free at the campgrounds they are serving and earn commissions based on the amount of advertising they book. The company has been providing important guest guides for many years. To tell us more, please welcome Michael Moore, the general manager of AGS Publications. Thanks for joining us today, Michael. I appreciate it. I know you guys have been big supporters of Workamper for many years. Tell us a little bit about what you folks do.
Sure. So we are AGS Guest Guides, and what we do is we produce those very nice, handy, about pocket-sized brochures that a lot of RVers get when they check into an RV park or campground. And it has very useful information with rules, map of the park, a lot of times information about the area, and then for a lot of the guides we do, it will have ads from local businesses that are supporting that park. And it is a lot of people and businesses that are very helpful and relevant to RVers. So things like restaurants, a tire shop, mobile tech, stuff like that.
And how long have Workampers been helping you produce these guides?
Oh gosh, well, I would say the parent company, Texas Advertising, bought AGS in 2011, and I would say we have been a big advertiser and supporter of Workamper since then, because Workamper generates a lot of leads for us as far as where we find potential reps that we then bring aboard and assign to the campgrounds we work with.
Now, we should note that your reps are not involved in the production of the guides themselves. They're not doing the layout and the copy editing and things like that. They are helping to solicit advertisers, correct?
Correct. They solicit advertisers. Now, they do work with the advertisers, though, to determine what kind of art they want to go with, what kind of information will go in their ad. But no, we have a team of graphic designers and people in our office that actually physically put these guides together.
So what kinds of things do your reps do? They go out in pairs, right? It's usually a husband and wife or just two people out on the road together, or can singles be involved?
Oh, absolutely. No, it is mainly couples, but we have several folks that do this on their own. It's more work, obviously, but it certainly can be done, and the folks that we have doing it that way are very successful as well. And what they do is they will go out to a campground. They will stay in that area for no more than 2 weeks at a time. And what they do is they're trying to gather local businesses that support the campground to support the guide that the campground will then hand out. Because for a lot of these campgrounds, they have 3, 4, 5 up to 10 or 20,000 check-ins a year. So for local businesses, that's very good marketing. That's a qualified lead that they're advertising to that they can put their information in front of.
And these are typically businesses that support the tourism trade. You're not going to be going out after like home repair and things like that. It's typically not. No, I mean our reps are obviously RVers. They have their own RVs, and really that's the unique perspective they have when they go into a restaurant or say a dog groomer or some RV-related businesses. They can kind of relate to that business and tell them, hey, when I'm rolling into a campground late at night, I may just want to order a pizza. And if the office is closed, I need to know who to call. Or, if I had a breakdown on my rig, I would like to know who you, the front office staff, would recommend to come out and fix that. So, no, it's really built on a relationship the campground has with the community and who they would recommend, just as if, a family member called up and said, hey, who should I go to grab a bite to eat? It's the same thing as that, we like to think. Okay. Now, typically work campers do work at a campground in exchange for a free campsite, but they're not working in campgrounds, so how are they compensated with you folks?
Sure. So our reps are all commission-based, so they are selling advertisements to the local businesses, and then our reps are compensated through commission, and then we have various bonus structures and other sort of incentives tied to that, but it is a commission-based position.
And by commission-based, are we talking they could make a couple of $100s in that 2-week period, or up to $1,000 or more?
It depends on the project, quite honestly, but let's just say some of our reps will do very well, but it also depends on how often our reps like to be on the road as well, because we understand that every rep's a little different, and every rep has certain obligations they have throughout the year, doctor's appointments, graduations, and stuff like that. So, as we like to say, you can do as well as you want to, and as time will allow.
It sounds like there's some flexibility built into this, so that if people wanted to be up in Idaho, for example, in the summer, they could perhaps get an assignment to go work for a campground up in that area and spend two weeks up there, and then head out to a different part of the country, maybe a month or two later, and pick up another gig.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm only bound by the campgrounds that have solicited our services here.
Right,
AGS.
yeah.
But what we also tell reps, though, is obviously with an RV, you have the ultimate flexibility. So even if you were to market a couple of campgrounds that we have assigned, that doesn't mean that you couldn't take a few weeks or a month or two off and go see some things along the route that you normally wouldn't see, and you may not, again, necessarily be working on a project for us, but you would be in that part of the country at that time of year to be able to take some time and go see those things that you normally wouldn't be able to.
Okay, that makes sense. So is it possible that this can be pretty much part-time work, or can it turn into a full-time position?
Well, we do ask our reps to be with us at least for 10 to 12 projects a year, and each project is typically about 2 weeks, so that's about 6 months or so. But as far as which 6 months, again, we are fairly open and flexible on that front. I've got some teams that they work year-round, all the way through the holidays. Some teams maybe, will not work over the winter time, so maybe that December, January, February, and then when the rest of the country thaws out, they pick it up again. So, again, that's one of those things that we go over at length with any prospective team we're talking to so that we can make sure it's a good fit for everybody.
Are there any specific qualifications for this job?
What we look for is, honestly, someone that has experience in sales, and it can be any kind of sales, not necessarily print sales, but one of the things that you quickly learn in any kind of sales position is how often you're going to hear the word no, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to hear no more often than you're going to hear yes, and that's just one of the things that you really can't teach in a short amount of time. It's one of those things you either have experience with it or you don't, and that's one of the things I can say that our more successful teams and couples have that experience doing.
Okay. So are there some character traits, et cetera, that you're primarily looking for?
Well, I can tell you that you definitely need to be a self-starter, obviously, because this is certainly not an office job, as a lot of folks are coming from. I mean, you're out on the road, and you certainly have assignments that are given through the office, but from there, again, you've got the authority to kind of work in the schedule and figure out what time you would like to go to a campground, what time of day you need to get out there on the road and hit the pavement and stuff like that, while also keeping in mind that there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well that people may not think of, whether it's paperwork, artwork, and stuff like that. So I would say a big thing is definitely being organized and a self-starter. If you can do those two things, I think you can do pretty well with this.
I would imagine being a people person would be required as well, somebody who likes being around people.
That would definitely help. But again, as you know, Greg, with the campgrounds, it's a very small world, but that's a good thing. I mean, even if not everyone knows everybody, it's pretty close. And again, we're all about the relationship. And we treat this as if you had, if somebody came up to the front desk of a campground asking what's a good place to grab a bite to eat, this is no different than that. So, but you have to have kind of that personality to be able to go to that business and kind of, lay out what the campground is trying to do and relay what the campground is doing in order to get them to support the campground. If they don't know what they're buying, then there's a good chance they're not going to go in.
Right. But if somebody doesn't really feel comfortable talking to people and would prefer to sit on a mower, this might not be the kind of job for them. However, if they have experience in the past in sales or as a teacher perhaps, or any kind of job that has forward-facing functionality with the public, this would be a good opportunity for them to consider.
Absolutely, yeah. If you come from a position or have experience in something like that where you are, essentially making a lot of cold calls during the day, you are making a lot of phone calls throughout the tenure, then absolutely, this would be something that they might be interested in.
And because you require them to work 10 to 12 assignments a year, they could have one a month, which would be enough to keep them on the road pretty much, pay for the gas. Now, do they get campground paid for or picked up for this type of work?
Well, that is one of the things we ask of the campground, that in exchange for this very nice, very free product, that they do allow our reps to stay there for no more than 2 weeks at a time. But again, it's one of, we like to think, a small sacrifice for that campground in order to get this very nice product. And I can tell you, Greg, that one of the things that we try our best to do here is to show the campground that we're not taking advantage of the site, our reps are not on vacation, that they are really going out in the community and really trying to make those connections. Because, look, we understand that a site for a campground is important to them. Every single site is, whether it's a 100-site park or a 1,000-site park. And we want to make sure that they can see the value in allowing our reps to do that.
Well, I would think it'd be helpful for the workers or work campers to stay at the campground just to talk to their campers who are there. Like, where did you go out for dinner? Or where do you go when you're looking for activities or things to do in the area? And that might help them identify places that they could call because the campers are already using those businesses.
Right. No, absolutely. And as you know, Greg, being an RVer, I mean, more often than not, you end up striking up conversation with your next door neighbor anyway. And I can tell you that all of our reps do the exact same thing, meaning they're pulling in, they wave to the next door neighbor, or they're out to let the dog do its business, and they just strike up conversation. And that's a lot of times where the best leads come from. You're asking them, hey, where did you guys go to eat last night? Or, hey, what attraction did you guys go see? Or what is there to do around here, or something along those lines. Anything that would be relevant to an RVer at a campground, I think would be a perfect candidate to support that campground.
Mm-hmm. What kind of advice would you give to people who are considering becoming a work camper? I mean, a lot of people have been dreaming about this. Is it something that anybody could do?
And do you mean as far as work camping or as far as what we do specifically here at AGS?
Well, what you do at AGS, but how it applies to work campers as well. So yours is one of many opportunities that people have, and people are often dreaming about getting into the RV lifestyle, but they don't think they can make it work. But with jobs like this, they can make it work.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that if you are interested in a life of travel and seeing things that maybe you didn't get a chance to see in your first career, or maybe now the kids are, off to college and the house is empty, either work camping or coming aboard with our company are definitely two ways to go about that. Because again, it as you know, it's very cost efficient, obviously, to be able to travel from one campground to another, at least relative to other methods of traveling. But there's also just some very beautiful sites around the country that should be seen. And one of the ways to go about it is to get that RV and just hit the road.
Now, when you're making these assignments, are you taking into consideration where the RVers are or where they want to head? I mean, or is it likely that they could be assigned to Washington one month and then Florida the next month and then New York the next month and Arizona the next month?
Sure. No, I get that question a lot when I talk to folks about coming aboard. What I can tell you is the owners of our company, Brian and Deborah, who you know very well, did this very job many, many years ago, and they understand the logistics of this kind of position. So what I say all that to say that we don't have people that will say, have an assignment in Washington, and then I say, great, next week I need you in Florida, right?
Right.
Because then you'd be spending all your commission and fuel just to get there. And again, not only are we interested in our reps seeing things and staying at nice places, but also making some money along the way.
Mm-hmm. And how far in advance can they plan to be doing these kind of trips? Is this something that comes up relatively at the last minute, or would they be able to plan a quarter ahead?
Yeah, no, for the most part, believe me, it's my primary job to schedule our reps, and if I could schedule everyone a year out, I would. But as you know, life happens, and that's just not practical, let's say. So, but what I can tell you is I try to plan it out as far out as possible, certainly more than 3 to 6 months, so that our reps have plenty of time to not only book themselves into the campgrounds that we have them working, but also to make plans outside of those campgrounds that they're working as well.
Okay. One question that I think a lot of people might ask is, do you provide training, or do you just hand them a clipboard and a map and say, go hit up everybody?
No. We definitely have a fairly extensive training program, and typically what we do is we actually have any new rep team stay at a campground that one of our current teams is in, a training team, and they will spend literally a week with them going over our protocols, our procedures, really how to put one of these guides together. And again, it's not so much sales training because we try to bring people aboard that have that experience already, but it's more about how to work with these particular customers, these particular advertisers, and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's about a week that you're actually physically with one of our training teams. Most of it is going over what I'll call the behind-the-scenes stuff, the production side of things. But then a day or two is going out with that sales team into the field and actually seeing up close what a typical day looks like. A renewal, some cold calling, stuff like that, meeting with the campground and kind of updating them on your progress. No, we want them, any new team, to see up close and personal exactly what this position entails.
Okay. Are most of the assignments then, if they're not renewals, are they cold calls? Or do you get some rather warm leads because the campground owners happen to know so-and-so runs the bakery down in town and might be interested in advertising?
Well, let me say first, our campgrounds will update their guides annually. So, and we have our reps go back to the campgrounds year after year to update those. And we, again, as you can imagine, the more successful teams we have go back to those same campgrounds year after year. From there, our renewal rate, I can say, is pretty good, at least relative, I think, to other types of advertising. We have a 70 to 80% renewal rate as far as the advertisers go. But obviously, that's still going to be, 20 to 30% gap there of folks that either went out of business or what have you that do require some lead generation, if you will. A lot of it is working with the campground operator because, again, they know the area better than anyone, so they can say, hey, there's a new restaurant on Main Street. We've been there a couple times. Go see them. Or, hey, my buddy just started a tire shop. Definitely go see him. So it's a combination of that, but also our reps really qualifying an area as well and seeing for themselves what's in town so that they can make a decision on who they should go visit and why.
Is this a job that can be done in halter, shorts, and flip-flops, or do you have to have a more professional appearance?
On the weekends, that's certainly fine, obviously. But, yeah, I would say if you're going to meet a local business that you would dress appropriately, a nice pair of slacks and pants, that represents the campground well. Because, again, as much as, a lot of campgrounds are obviously in there for enjoyment and sort of hospitality, it's still a business, and you are representing them. So we would like someone representing that business to dress accordingly, let's say.
If there are people who are interested in pursuing this some more and maybe getting some more questions answered, how would they go about either applying or reaching out to you folks to get that information?
Sure. I would say the first step is to go to our website, which is agspub.com. And then we have a page at the top there that says Join Our Team. And then from there, we have a bunch of information on what we're looking for, what does it mean to be an AGS rep. And then if that all sounds good, we have a link to an application. Those applications come straight to me, and I review every one of them, and from there reach out to schedule any interviews we'd like to conduct.
Are those interviews done online, or do people have to show up in Texas to do a face-to-face interview?
Actually, the initial interview I do over the phone, and then anyone that I would be more interested in hearing from, I actually have Deborah, who, again, co-owns the company with her husband, Brian, and she speaks to them as well in a second phone interview because, like I said, she has actually done this job before and can answer a lot of questions when it comes to logistics and the lifestyle, and she just likes to get a chance to meet anyone before we bring them aboard. And then from there, we kind of reconvene, make a decision, and then bring people aboard to AGS.
So is this a process that takes maybe a couple of weeks, or is it a couple of months to go through?
Well, as far as the interviews go, those don't take any more than a couple of weeks, but, unlike some other sitemap companies, we don't bring people aboard until we have work for them, meaning we don't want to bring anyone aboard, train them, and then have them sit around for weeks or months until we have assignments for them. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
We bring them aboard because we have work for them. So as far as the turnaround time, when we bring someone aboard and when they start, it's actually pretty quick, and we actually work with that team to determine what their availability is and what their schedule is. So, right now it's middle of September, so if a team said, hey, we're not ready till December, and we brought them aboard, we would work with them to ensure that's when they started.
This sounds really exciting and like a wonderful opportunity for some people to consider. And once again, we would tell everybody to go to agspub.com and look for that Join Our Team section and get more information and begin the application process. And you'll have plenty of work for people to do in 2020, I'm assuming?
We are very, very lucky and very grateful. Business continues to do well, and we have more parks than ever that need our guest guide. So, yes, we are always on the lookout for good teams to come aboard.
Well, thank you again, Michael. I appreciate the time and wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you, Greg.
Have you ever checked into a campground only to be handed a map that looks like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy made about 10 years ago? As a full-time RVer, I encountered many of these so-called resources when visiting campgrounds. They are frustrating for guests because the homemade maps are difficult to read and look amateurish. They also lack essential information about the local area. AGS Publications offers to create colorful, professional guest guides free of charge for campgrounds. The only expense the campground incurs is to give a free campsite to Workampers to use as they solicit support from local businesses. Selling ads for these guides is an excellent job for people who have worked in sales before and are looking for short-term ways to make money to support their travels. AGS is headquartered near Dallas, and the firm is well respected in the outdoor hospitality industry. The firm has a history of hiring outgoing professional people to represent campgrounds and build relationships with business owners in nearby communities. It's rewarding work, not only financially, but in knowing that the finished product is truly helping campers and RVers enjoy a better experience when visiting a campground. For more information about work camping opportunities with AGS, visit www.agspub.com and click on the Join Our Team link. This episode is sponsored by National RV Training Academy in Athens, Texas. The Academy's 1-week live training or home study course will teach you everything you need to know about how to fix 80% of the problems people experience with their RVs. You can also sign up for additional training to become an RV inspector, campground technician, or to provide mobile RV service. For more information, visit www.nrvta.com. Our next episode will feature an interview with a mother of 7 who supports her traveling tribe by selling products on the road. Here's a hint. The family makes more money doing this than they used to by working in construction. If you're an entrepreneur or want to be, you'll enjoy next week's interview with Dana Tickner. Until then, as winter is already making its presence felt in some parts of the country, please take some time this weekend to enjoy the beautiful fall weather. Thanks for listening.